the DualSense controller. That is the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller.
I did manage to acquire 2 of those.
Guess what? They're fantastic.
They're pretty good.
They feel much. God, do they feel better than the goddamn PlayStation 4 controller? That's not hard, but
so I bought one, and Amazon sent me 2.
Fucking sick.
I don't know.
That's great. The DualSense is like, as a controller, it is very similar to the PS4. It just has a better feel, has better shape.
The weight's good.
The light on the front can be seen from the front, which led to a really funny article where people are like, "Did you know that Resident Evil 3 on PS5 has a secret feature where the light turns red when you're damaged?" I'm like, yeah, there are actually hundreds of PS4 games that had that, including Resident Evil 3, that nobody knew because the goddamn light on the fucking front of the fucking thing would only face away from the player for some goddamn reason. Super dumb. But the feature that I've been messing around with the most interestingly, which I don't think you would have had a chance to fuck around with yet, is the haptic rumble / haptic feedback.
No.
Shit.
No, I mean,
so
I wouldn't be able to. So, like, yeah, how is that? What is
all
that?
Right. This is remarkably difficult to explain via words, but I'm going to give it a shot. So, the PS5, I'm actually not doing it. I'm holding it, by the way, video audience. I'm holding it not to give you a video demonstration, but to look at it so that I can try and explain this. The rumble in this thing is how do I put this? I think that the jump from regular rumble to this rumble is a bigger deal than the jump from literally nothing to the N64 rumble pack.
Okay. That's high praise.
Your classic rumble, as used in a Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller, is caused by 2 spinning pieces of metal in the bottom of either side that spins 1 for weak rumble, 1 for strong rumble, and both for extra strong rumble. This does not use that at all. This has what I think are lo-fi speakers in the handles. And those speakers appear to run the entire length all the way to the top of the goddamn controller. And the rumble that is being transmitted to you is not like a spinning actuator. It is actually the game's audio mix being pumped into the speakers. And it's different pieces of the game's audio mix being put into the speakers.
Okay.
So what this means is that in the olden times, like Demon's Souls, you would, say, grab a rapier and you would stab an enemy, right? And it would go bleh, because of course it did, right? It would usually use the middle rumble like the strength, and it would almost always do that for almost everything, right? So you would stab it and you go bleh, and that would be it. And I ended up turning rumble off on almost all games because I actually hate it, right? In Demon's Souls, when you go and stab a man, first of all, the speaker is using a lot more playtime. So character-centric sounds tend to have a mix specific to the controller. So like the roll noise actually has an audio component that comes out of the controller when you hit the floor. Because I assume it assumes your character hit the floor, right?
You're playing with headphones, though, right?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
So when you go to stab a man, you know the whoosh, like the shink noise of like stabbing a guy. You can feel the rumble travel from the top of the controller down to your palms, and it's uneven. so that it feels like a scrape. If that makes any
Interesting.
sense.
Okay, like it feels like something was off.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It feels like you are hitting an object and it is an uneven like stab.
Mm-hmm.
When you cast Soul Arrow, you can feel the rumble begin in your palm near the bottom, build up towards the triggers,
Oh,
then
wow.
pulse down.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay.
It is really, really nuts. It's
So
really, really nuts.
now that feature is like kind of what I think the Switch was trying to say it had,
Yeah.
where like you had HD rumble essentially being sold, but like I don't think anything I played like we had that you have that little slight bump, that the little bit of feedback you get when like highlighting things sometimes,
So
but I don't think I've felt anything like that detailed.
there's a demo that comes with the PlayStation 5 called Astro's Playroom. And Astro's Playroom is dedicated to just show like really flexing on HD Rumble
Mm-hmm.
and being like, yeah. So one of the things I could tell you with my eyes closed if I was on grass, white tile, blue tile, or glass
Wow.
walking around. Um easily. Like it's very distinctive in feel on the
Is
controller.
now how many games are doing this though?
Not that many. There's
Right.
also it was specific enough that they combined it with the Joy-Con, the gyro, that they do a little thing where they put a little bunch of little goober mascots into your controller, and then they
Mm-hmm.
say shake the controller around, and it actively and pretty successfully imitates the feeling of when I turn it down, it feels like they're sitting in the bottom gravity wise, and when I shake it, it feels like they're hitting the sides.
Wow. Okay.
Um, it's so
Fuck.
crazy. It is so nuts. And that is half of it. The other half is the triggers. So when you just have a regular PlayStation 4 trigger, they're a little mushy. I like them. I really like the PS4 triggers. These are most of the time exactly the same as the PS4 triggers. However, when they decide to kick it up, it is the craziest thing ever. So what the trigger actually has is a gear and coil inside of it that can determine level of resistance at certain distances. So what happens is the trigger itself can rumble separate from the rest of the controller. So it can also fight you at varying levels of strength at different parts. So in Bug Snacks, when you go to take a photograph of something, the first 10% of the trigger pull is normal, and then you hit a hard block. It feels like
A real camera.
no, it feels like a
That's
camera, but it also feels like you ever use one of those 360 or Xbox controllers where you can lock the controller to a
yeah,
certain.
totally, all the time.
It feels
Hmm.
like that, but if you push past it, it
Yes.
will snap past it and then rumble.
So a real camera, like that you use, will have a soft touch that stops halfway through, and that'll be your focus, and then it'll get whatever in focus. If you're using like a DSLR, and then
Yeah.
you can push past it to click, and that'll be the shot.
To those of you who have not used a real camera, if you ever played a GameCube game, it is like the GameCube's R button times 1,000 that can be modified per button, per instance, per game.
Mm-hmm.
So Bug Snacks had that for the camera, but never had it for anything else. There was a laser pointer thing that would rumble more as I pushed it down. And if I pushed it down lightly and I got it to 50%, the rumble was so strong it would actually push my finger off the button.
Okay.
I have not played Call of Duty Cold War yet, but people are telling me that every single gun in Call of Duty Cold War has a slightly different trigger pull feel.
Wow. So if a game wanted to, let's say, minimize that trigger pull length entirely and make it as shallow as possible with a clean input for, I don't know, let's say a hard kick button,
Yeah,
it can
they
be
could do
game
it.
specific for that. That's fucking sick.
Yep.
No need to send it off for modding.
I'm tempted to get Call of Duty just to shoot guns in it. Yeah, it can go anywhere between like a squish, a hard squish, a trigger pull, multiple levels of it's really crazy.
Okay.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
It has made it has made the feeling of like testing out what new things do in a game about as exciting as. Well, did you ever play Ape Escape 1?
No.
Okay, because when Ape Escape 1 came out, that was crazy. With the dual analog and the rumble.
I did play the
was
demo,
nuts.
so I did get the impression a little
Yeah.
bit. But yeah, okay.
It's like that again, but for every game.
Okay.
It's nuts.
Yeah, again, I just like the pulling it out of the box, size, weight, overall, heft to it, is all pretty much like the best you're gonna get of the PlayStation configuration. I was pretty satisfied with everything on it, and I feel like blah, like this is it's a random tweet that kind of came out, but like just as an aside while we're talking about these types of features, the fact that the PS5 has a turn off all Bluetooth devices feature, thank fucking Christ, that is a beautiful thing for tournament purposes that just saved everybody's lives.
Oh, there's actually a lot of incredible features on this thing that are some of them are part of the PS5, some of them are not. It has a microphone in it that seems a lot better than almost any other controller microphone that I've used. If you hit the tiny little button that is at the bottom of the controller that is otherwise invisible, it mutes you. It mutes you instantly. You can also set it to start muted. You can also hold the button down to mute the game's audio. I'm also seeing people in chat talking about Nero in DMC5 SE on the PS5. You can feel the Red Queen exceed like a motorcycle handle. It makes it easier to max act.
That sounds fun. If it doesn't fuck it up though, if you have let's be real, like if you are used to the timing and everything with that, a little bit of extra feedback might actually fuck you up a little bit. So let's.
However, Astro Playroom uses it great. Demon Souls uses it great. DMC5 apparently does well with it. Call of Duty apparently does well with it. Valhalla, which I've also been playing, don't have much to say. It's fine. Cool game. One of the creative directors left on it because he was cheating on his wife with tons of women. Good for you, buddy, dumbass. And then Ubisoft fired him for other investigative reasons that they won't share. Every time I play an Ubisoft game, I feel necessary to point out that many of the senior staffers come. Valhalla's good. The haptic feedback on it sucks ass. I thought they weren't using it until I felt like a weak-ass little scrape on my boat, and I'm like, oh, wow, okay, they are using it. They're being lazy about it. So it will vary wildly. Sony first-party shit will obviously kill.
As most new features that come out in any generation are, it's up to the developer effort.
I would very much... so this is getting Steam support probably by the end of the week. It's already in the beta client. And that includes being able to set the triggers yourself and all that Rumble shit. I really, really hope that any multi-plat games that have PS4, PS5 controller support stuff that come to PC will also have those exact same features come to the PC. As it currently is, and the fact that PS5 games have tended to actually go for a better frame rate than anything, right? Like almost everything is 60 right now. and there are games that have lots of performance modes. As long as the PS5 keeps trying to do the performance mode thing, I would be very interested in buying nearly everything on that PlayStation machine. Because this HD rumble shit, a haptic feedback shit, if it is in the game, is nuts. It is crazy.
How about the
I like it.
How about the system itself?
That's fine. It's a fucking PS4 with a slightly different interface.
Have you used any cards?
Cards?
The new card system where they
no, fuck that. I don't give a shit about that. That's stupid.
Okay.
No, I turn on the video game.
Fair enough.
And the video game.
Yeah.
It's good.
Have you
just saw
killed the battery yet?
Yeah, it's about 13 hours, 14 hours. It's about twice as long as the regular PS4 battery, which is
fucking
nice.
Sick.
I saw somebody in the chat point out, and I guess I should point out as well. Anybody who's been following me or this podcast for a long time, I hate almost every gimmick. I don't like VR. I hate motion controls. I don't even really like the Wii pointer. I really, really, really like this goddamn haptic feedback shit. I think it is super. I think it is just super.
That's pretty sick. That's they didn't sell it as a humongous deal. They kind of went like, we got some new cool feelings on it. And I was like, yeah, it's Rumble. You know, I didn't look twice over it when I was reading it on the list.
I don't blame them because I read every article about this feature before it came out and went, yeah, whatever. And then I stabbed one guy in Demon Souls and went, ooh, you know, like,
okay.
It is very similar to the Wii Remote original like thing of like you probably have to actually get hands on this to care at all. And once you do get hands on, you'll be like, oh, you know who I am? I'm the captain from Flapjack looking at that little dog do a backflip. You'll have to do more than that to impress. Ooh.
Right.
But like the mind races with obvious implementations like racing games, right? Or any game that has a gun.
Fishing would be
the gyro on it's actually really sensitive.
If you can feel it traveling from left to right, north to south.
Oh, totally.
Like that would be beautiful. Fishing would be great.
It is a shame that COVID is happening, and I you know, or else I would hop over to your house and show it to you. But that's not going to happen. Sorry, dude. But you'll get a PS5 one day.
One day.
But for the time being, you will have to be all like, darn, I wish I could feel the haptics.
Well, I mean, I don't know if those drivers are going to come out and allow similar things to happen on Steam, but if they do, I'd be very happy about that.
I assume within a couple of weeks, you'll be able to plug it into your PC and at least feel something, right? And be like, hey, look, I fucked around with this, and you can trigger it manually. And just run through all the different permutations.